I've been a search and rescue officer for over 12 years now. When you spend that much time in the deep wilderness, you develop a certain perspective on nature. Most people see the national parks as a playground, but for us, it's a giant, indifferent machine. We don't really find people out here. Most of the time, we just find the space where they used to be. It's clinical. But there's a side to this job that doesn't make it into the official reports. It's the stuff veterans only talk about when the sun is down and the radio is quiet. They call them the quiet anomalies. Things that shouldn't be there, but are. There's an unwritten code among the older officers. A rule of 3 that every rookie eventually learns through a cold stare or a sharp silence. Never talk about the stairs. Never look at the stairs. And never, under any circumstance, approach them. You see, the forest isn't empty. It's just waiting for you to notice what doesn't belong. I used to think it was just a hazing ritual, a way to keep the new guys on edge. But then I was assigned to a missing person case near the North Ridge, in a section of the park the maps don't like to talk about. We were miles from the nearest trail. The terrain was brutal, rotting cedar, jagged limestone, and mud that felt like it was trying to pull your boots off. Then, the atmospheric snap happened. 1 second, the woods were alive with cicadas and the wind. The next, it was gone. Absolute, crushing silence. I could hear the rhythm of my own heart thumping against my ribs. It was the loudest thing in the forest. I looked down and saw something that made the hair on my neck stand up. It wasn't a footprint. It was a floor tile. A single, pristine beige ceramic tile embedded in the black dirt. I knelt down. It was perfectly clean. No mud, no scratches. And as I leaned in, I caught a scent. Not damp earth or pine needles, but the faint chemical smell of lemon floor wax. Like a kitchen that had just been scrubbed on a Saturday morning. I looked back at the trail we'd been carving, but the trees seemed different. They looked like they'd been pasted into position, a wall of wood that hadn't been there a minute ago. I checked my GPS. The screen was just a blur of static. I didn't think much of it then. I thought I was just dehydrated. But the smell of that wax, it followed me. We pushed into a clearing that shouldn't have been there. In the center of a circle of dying trees stood a white-painted wooden staircase. It was modern, elegant, and completely out of place. It had no walls, no railings, and it led to absolutely nowhere, just 6 or 7 steps ending in the empty air. It looked like it had been ripped out of a suburban home and dropped into the rot. My partner Miller, a guy who had spent 30 years finding bodies, didn't say a word. He just stopped. He didn't scream. He didn't even look surprised. He just looked empty. His eyes glazed over, and his breathing became shallow. I asked him what it was, but he didn't answer. He just turned and started walking away in a perfectly straight line, his boots making no sound on the dry leaves. I looked at the shadow the staircase was casting. The sun was directly overhead, but the shadow was long and stretched toward the east as if it was already 5 in the evening. And then I felt it. A low-frequency hum. It wasn't a sound you hear, it was something that vibrated in your teeth. It felt like the forest was holding its breath. I don't know why, but that detail stuck with me. The way the stairs looked more real than the trees. The magnetic pull was physical. I felt a weight in my chest, drawing me toward that first step. I told myself I was just investigating, that it was my job to clear the area. But as soon as my boot touched the wood, the world changed. The sound of crunching dirt vanished, replaced by the hollow click of a heel on a hardwood hallway. I climbed 2 steps. 3. I looked down and the forest floor wasn't 5 feet away anymore. It looked like it was miles below me, a dark, swirling sea of green. I looked up and the sky was gone. The clouds were flat and textured, like damp wallpaper peeling off a ceiling. When I reached the top step, the air turned stale. It smelled like a grandmother's house, lavender, mothballs, and old paper. And then from the empty space in front of me, I heard it. A faint, tinny sound of a television news broadcast. A woman's voice was talking about a missing child case from 1994. The audio was crisp, as if the TV was right there. I felt my internal organs turn into cold sand. My own shadow cast on the top step wasn't moving when I did. It was just watching. Then something cold and dry brushed against the back of my neck. It wasn't a hand. It felt like the edge of a curtain. But I didn't climb down. I fell. I scrambled back into the dirt, the smell of lemon wax burning my throat. When I looked back, the clearing was empty. There was no staircase, no Miller, just a radio lying in the dirt, half fused into the bark of a cedar tree as if it had been growing there for decades. I eventually found my way back to the base camp, but I wasn't the same. The doctors called it forest fatigue, but they couldn't explain the glitch. You see, ever since that day, my shadow reacts half a second later than I do. If I raise my hand, the shadow waits, it lingers, and in every quiet room I enter, I can hear the faint, rhythmic ticking of a grandfather clock that isn't there. People tell me the woods are a place to find yourself, but I know better. The forest is a place that replaces you. If you're ever out there miles from the trail and you see something domestic, a door frame or a set of white stairs, don't run. Because running implies you're still in a world where distance and time matter. Just close your eyes and pray you aren't already at the top, because the door is already clicking shut.